On a quiet afternoon in the heart of the city, where polished black cars glided past cracked sidewalks and towering glass buildings reflected a world of wealth few could touch, a small girl in a faded yellow dress stood near the entrance of a luxury office tower clutching a handmade birthday card. Her name was Alina, and she was only 7 years old, but her eyes carried a hope far bigger than her tiny frame. She had spent the entire morning drawing balloons and crooked candles on a piece of recycled paper she found in her mother's sewing box, carefully writing the words, "Please come to my birthday," in colorful crayons worn down to stubs. Inside that towering building worked Adrian Hale, the youngest billionaire in the city, a tech genius whose name was splashed across magazines and business channels, a man known for billion-dollar deals and ruthless negotiations. But Alina did not know about stock markets or global conferences. She only knew that once, weeks ago, this same man had stopped his car when she tripped while selling flowers at a traffic light. Instead of ignoring her like everyone else, he had helped her up, bought all her flowers, and told her, "Never stop smiling." Since that day, she believed he was different. So when she overheard her mother whisper that they could not afford a birthday cake this year, Alina made a bold decision only a child with pure faith could make. She would invite the kind man in the expensive suit to her birthday. Security guards tried to wave her away from the entrance, but she stood firm, her small hands trembling yet determined. "I just want to give him this," she said softly. At that exact moment, Adrian stepped out of his car, adjusting his cufflinks, preparing mentally for another high-stakes meeting. He noticed the commotion, then recognized the little girl instantly. "It's you," he said, kneeling to her level as cameras from nearby reporters flashed in the distance. Alina swallowed her fear and held out the card. "Sir, will you come to my birthday? Mama says we can't have a big one, but if you come, it will be special." The guards expected him to smile politely and walk away. His assistant whispered about an urgent investor call. But Adrian stared at the uneven crayon letters and felt something shift inside him, something he had buried under years of ambition and profit margins. He asked her when and where. "Tomorrow. Our house is small, but I'll wait," she said with a shy grin. "Against every expectation," he replied, "I wouldn't miss it." The next evening, in a narrow alley far from the shining skyscrapers, neighbors gathered around Alina's modest home, curious about the black SUVs now parked beside broken bicycles and hanging laundry lines. Her mother nearly fainted when Adrian stepped out, not alone but carrying boxes, not extravagant displays for publicity, but thoughtful gifts, a real birthday cake with 7 glowing candles, books, warm clothes, and a small keyboard because he remembered she loved music. There were no reporters this time. He had forbidden media coverage. This was not for headlines. Inside the tiny apartment, paint peeling from the walls, Adrian sat on a wooden stool far too small for him, laughing as children played simple games. When it was time to cut the cake, Alina closed her eyes and whispered, "Thank you for coming." He felt his throat tighten. No boardroom victory had ever felt like this. After the cake, he quietly asked her mother about their life and learned about hospital bills, unpaid rent, and the silent battles they fought daily. That night, he left without promises of miracles, but the following week, things began to change. Alina's mother received a call offering her a stable job at one of Adrian's companies with flexible hours. The landlord informed them their rent had been paid anonymously for a year. A scholarship fund was created in Alina's name, not only for her but for other children in the neighborhood. When asked later at a conference why he had suddenly launched a community initiative investing millions into low-income areas, Adrian simply said, "Sometimes the smallest invitation reminds you what truly matters." Word of what happened spread anyway, not through press releases but through people whose lives began improving. The alley where hopelessness once lingered slowly transformed into a place of opportunity. But the most powerful change was in Adrian himself. He started visiting schools, funding local dreams, and showing up, not as a billionaire, but as a human being who finally understood that success without compassion is empty. On Alina's 8th birthday, the celebration was still modest, still filled with homemade decorations, because her mother insisted they never forget where they came from. Adrian arrived again, this time not as a surprise guest but as family. As laughter echoed through the room, neighbors whispered about how one little girl's courage had moved mountains. And the truth was simple, she had not begged for money, fame, or rescue. She had asked for presence. She had asked to be seen. In a world obsessed with power, a child's sincerity broke through walls money never could. So if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness can rewrite destinies and that even the smallest voice can inspire the greatest change, make sure you subscribe to this channel and join a community that believes in hope, compassion, and the extraordinary power of simple human connection. Because sometimes, the most amazing transformations begin with a crayon-written invitation and the courage to say, "Will you come to my birthday?"